This is Marjabin Baraj from Pakistan, and you're watching my YouTube channel Insani Ittihad, which aims to invoke a little bit of humanity in all of us through awareness and understanding. Yes, after a long time, I am making this video, and the reason is that Pesach is around the corner. Is actually going to start today, because it's after I'm making this video after 12 a.m. So it's already Monday, and by the end of this day or before sundown, all the Pesach preparations and festivities will start by lighting the holiday Yom Tov candles. In fact, the festival will start before that, because it will start with the fast of the firstborn, which I am fasting today. One, because I am myself a firstborn, but it is actually for men who are firstborn. So, but I am fasting anyway, because fasting is something I like as a form of ritual to invoke spirituality and rejuvenate the connection with the divine, Hashem, and God, whatever one refers to the divine creator. So the reason to make this video on Pesach is, one, to actually share that this Pesach is very different and special in so many ways, because Israel is right now going through tough times, a wartime situation with its neighbors, many neighbors, and we just recently witnessed that a barrage of missiles and rockets and projectiles are sent in the direction of Eretz Israel, and miraculous, and 200 plus, some say 300, 200 plus is a number quoted widely. So 200 plus air projectiles were thrown towards Eretz Israel to target civilians, non-combatant, everyone, even Arabs, Muslims, Christians. And yet Jewish people have always invested in, whether that is invested monetarily or with faith and time and intellect, they have always invested on the right things. They're very smart in their investments, whether they're in spiritual investments, intellectual investments, material or money investments. Iron Dome saves the day, saves miraculously the people of Israel, and there are no damages, which is unprecedented in itself, a miracle. We have our hostages still at the hands of the enemy, behind enemy line in Gaza, captive. And Pesach, which is the festival of freedom, where the Jewish people, the Israelites, came out of Mizraim, came out of Egypt, and went through Sinai and that whole journey through Sinai, and then eventually ended up, Baruch Hashem, in Eretz Israel. And that was where this land, Eretz Israel, was inherited and gifted and presented to the Israelites. Actually, it belonged to the Israelites, because all the 12 sons of Yaakov were actually settled in. They were born elsewhere, of course, Babylonia or Iraq, in that time, and then they came back, Yaakov and his family, his sons and his wife, wife one died, and then eventually they reached Hebron, where Isaac or Isaac lived, and then they settled there, the 12 sons and their families, and then they went to Mizraim, Egypt, because there was a famine. Yeah, so this land is inherited by us, gifted to us, to the Jewish people, not us. I mean, I am not yet officially Jewish, but just for the phrase. But what reminded me, or what kind of pushed me to make this video, was this news that as Israel retaliates and hits some significant military targets in Iran and Iraq and Syria, and the war actually exaggerates somewhat, some people think. So Australia actually advised its citizens, Jewish citizens who are living or visiting Israel, to evacuate and leave Israel. So I was just wondering that what a time it is when Earth Israel needs Jews, needs Israelites the most. And, Australia is announcing that it's not safe to be there. So I just wanted to say this on Pesach to all the Jews who are confused, who are scared, intimidated, and who are somehow confused and going through this this wandering and confused time, just like the Israelites were wandering through Sinai for so many years, for 40 years. I want them to not abandon this gift from Hashem. Eretz Israel is the inheritance of the Israelites. It's a promise that the Israelites made to Hashem to keep this place holy, and make it a place where the Shekhinah of Hashem could develop amongst the Israelites. So do not abandon it. It's tough, it's scary, it's intimidating. Things could get wrong. I don't know. I mean, I wish there is peace, but even if the things get worse and things are bad, I think we shouldn't, or any Jew shouldn't, give up on Israel, or abandon Israel, or abandon Yiddishkeit in Eretz Israel. I strongly feel that when we say Am Israel Chai, for Eretz Israel, it's Am Israel Chai when Jews are living there, and Jews have not abandoned the Eretz Israel. So the land of Israel actually lives only when the Jews live there. And it's such a miracle that throughout the history, there are very few, even few families have lived there. So the land has never been completely abandoned by the Jews or the Israelites. And I still stress to all those people that even in this difficult time and intimidating time, stick with the promise, stick with the promised land, stick with Eretz Israel. And it's such at times this war was happening, and I was kind of reflecting while Torah study, or journaling, preparing for Pesach and everything. I was wondering what I was thinking about World War II, and I was thinking how strange it is that when Israelites went into Mizraim initially, they were seeing that, okay, it's a famine and it's an opportunity for us to go into Mizraim and take advantage of all the perks, and Joseph was the viceroy, and everything was just so amazing, and they just went into Mizraim and they fit in and everything. And then eventually things started to deteriorate, and eventually they become slaves, whether slaves of the life and the whole thing, the whole the whole material and spiritualness of Mizraim. The Jews got stuck in Mizraim. And then they eventually got enslaved, and they were like they wanted to they were just morally and emotionally and spiritually so disconnected. And yet Hashem in that particular time got them out through Moshe Rabbeinu, and then, you know, resettled them back into Israel, where initially they went into Mizrahim. And similar thing has happened in World War II. Years, in fact centuries of pogroms. Initially there was a good time for, there were periods of good time in Europe where they assimilated, they became irreligious, disconnected with the language, with Torah, with Yiddishkeit, and they tried their best to fit into Europe, and yet they ended up in death camps of Nazi Germany, and they were captives, they were enslaved. And then after that, they made a comeback to Israel. And it amazes me that Eretz Israel was funded or founded by all the people who were liberals and seculars, and not the very orthodox or very Jewish or very people who would follow rituals, and they're like very very strict. So Yiddishkeit, Hashem brought those people living that Mitzrayim in Europe back to Eretz Israel to revive the land of Israel, to make it more lively, so that not only the people of Israel can live, but also the land of Israel should also live. Don't abandon that. My message to you would be on this Pesach: do not abandon the land of Eretz Israel, because not only it's important to have Am Israel Chai as the Israeli people living, but it's also important that the land of Israel should also live. And it only lives and flourishes when Jews are inhabiting it. Jews are owning it, and Jews are taking responsibility of it. I hope whoever is fasting, the firstborns fast, have an easy and blessed fast. And I hope and wish that you have a very blessed and enlightening Pesach. I also pray from the depth of my heart that some miracle happen, and miraculously I hope and pray that all the hostages, especially this one family which I've been praying for so long, make through and pass over their captivity and come back to. Actually, they are in Eretz Israel. Gaza is part of the Eretz Israel and the land. But I wish their captivity ends and they know the freedom like the Israelites got the freedom from Pharaoh. We just pray all the hostages get the freedom before Pesach, and may this Pesach be a source of enlightenment and freedom and courage and faith. Chag Sameach, Chag Pesach Sameach. Thank you.